Just because we got the vaccine in 1 year doesn't mean that we have hurried or rushed and sort of skipped many important steps. It is the solution for COVID at the moment.
Of the people asking, is it safe or what are the side effects?
I would say that taking a vaccine can be safer than eating any of your meat.
Will this vaccine be effective for the mutations?
There are a couple of mutations that we recently reported with both now currently in South Africa as well as in UK. It is expected that these vaccines will still be effective against that. Okay. 6 million not needed, 4.1 million we are getting free. The balance 11 million we should try and vaccinate them. Yeah. Vaccinate everybody. If our vaccine coverages are better than even in Europe and America, a lot of countries may have ordered vaccines from COVAX, but everybody is not capable as Sri Lanka in distributing the vaccine and giving it to the people. Yeah. We can open our economy, we can open our factories, we can open our hotels. We have to have a jump start. For that jump start, I think the best investment is, the cost of it is less than what we spend for the PCR test. Yeah. I would say that this vaccine is not going to be very costly. Prices up. In fact, AstraZeneca and Oxford, when they came into the first agreement, they decided to have this vaccine not for profit.
By when can we expect this vaccine in Sri Lanka?
Unfortunately, there are some few people in the Ministry of Health who may not be the best people to coordinate these things. There are local companies that are capable of bringing the vaccine. If when we are asked, offered, if we don't respond fast, we'll go to the back of the queue.
Welcome to another sensational program brought to you by our YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, subscribe and do not forget to hit that bell icon so that you can receive notifications of the latest videos released. These days, we are always talking about corona and the vaccine that is going to come up in the future and which is going to save the world. To do the honors and give you the expert opinion and the details related to the vaccine, I would warmly welcome Consultant Pediatrician Specialist Dr. Lakkumar Fernando to our program. Dr. Lakkumar is a famous person who is very well aware about what's going on in the latest developments of COVID virus as well as the vaccine. Dr. Lakkumar, you are releasing a valid scientific document. For the last few days, we have been having discussions about the vaccine and how it's going to come to Sri Lanka and all that. Dr. Lakkumar, from your opinion, can you just basically explain our viewers about the vaccine and what's the future of preventing corona in the world?
Well, I think we are almost past 1 year since corona came into this pandemic started, and so far about 80 million people have died and 1.8 million people have died and more than 80 million are affected or diagnosed as infected through tests. The WHO estimates that 10% of the world's population is infected with the virus. The world population is 7.8 billion. If that is the case, we probably have 700-800 people who would have been infected and remaining asymptomatic. So this is it's a big problem, and almost 1 year on, we haven't found a proper treatment. There were a lot of treatments like hydrochloroquine, various antivirals and so on, but at the end everything has got evidence to say that none of them are effective and also our death rates, the way that it is managed, there's little change, not a lot, and that small percentage of people who died remains the same. So there is no treatment that is successfully capable of completely curing everybody, and with that the vaccine really comes as the most important solution to this. In fact, when this started, there were a lot of people who started doing research on the vaccine option. Of course, if you found a very good treatment, then things would have got slowed down, but fortunately or unfortunately, we did not get the good treatment option, and as a result, every treatment that we found, after some more studies, we found that it is of no use. So those things accelerated the vaccine effort, and there were close to 200 vaccine manufacturers, vaccine makers, universities, as well as various researchers who started working on the vaccine. And normally a vaccine will take 5 to 20 years before it is being marketed. But in this instance, we got the fastest vaccine in mankind just in 1 year. But One of the reasons is that about 5-6 years of work was already done. We had the platform, the infrastructure, plus part of the research done because for similar viruses. So that was the platform to begin with, and from there, people who would have just worked for a few hours a day and would have had their meetings infrequently probably started meeting and discussing morning to night and work 24 hours. That also helped us to sort of reduce the time. And some of these vaccines are actually they are made through kind of various computer programs, and the processing was done using the computers and faster computers. So they all have helped to bring in the vaccine faster. So just because we got the vaccine in 1 year doesn't mean that we have hurried or rushed and sort of skipped many important steps. And in the approvals, we've seen that every little step has been followed. And when the vaccines were given approval, that the regulatory authorities sort of did it very stringently. All these FDAs and the UK regulatory body as well as everybody, they did not have any shortcuts to approve it. And though we just call it emergency approval, so we are actually there is a lot of promise, and we have what you call the light at the end of the tunnel, and we are entering 2021 with already by today more than 3 million people have had their vaccine.
Yes.
Now, few days after starting to give the vaccine, and it will grow, and many countries have started giving it. So it is the solution for COVID at the moment, and so we probably will have to think of applying it here as well.
Yeah, Dr. Lakkumar. Now there are many vaccines on the pipeline, Dr. Lakkumar. There are some vaccines which have got approved. Can you just briefly explain about the vaccines which are available?
Well, it is like this. Total of about 180-90 people started working on the vaccine. There are about 85 vaccines which are still in the preclinical animal study stage, and there are about 65 to 70 odd vaccines that have entered the clinical stage, of which 44 are by today, about 44 are in phase 1, about 20 are in phase 2, 19 are in phase 3, and there are about 3 who has got full approval for full use, and then 5 just got approval for limited use, say in China and so on. We have got the 4th vaccine, or the widely used, say that the 3 vaccines that are clinically approved in countries are the Russian Gamelia, which is the first one is the Pfizer-BioNTech from America, and then soon followed the Moderna, and then you have the AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine. That's the 3rd one, but it hasn't got approved as yet. It is likely to get approval at the end of this week or beginning of next week in UK, and then probably other countries will follow. And the Moderna and the Pfizer have got approval in Canada and US, and Pfizer in the European Union and so on. So the number of countries that are sort of getting added to the list every day or every hour. So that is with that, probably India will also approve. The Serum Institute is a manufacturing site for the AstraZeneca vaccine by the beginning of 2000, that is early January, within weeks of January. That way we can. There are other vaccines. Even Kazakhstan is having their vaccine, which has been entered phase 3 a couple of days ago, and then we have vaccines from Japan, vaccine from South Korea, vaccine from Iran, and several European countries, and many more vaccines from UK. There's a Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which is a single dose vaccine. So likewise, in time to come, we will see many more vaccines suddenly appearing one after the other.
Yes, Dr. Lakkumar, you bravely mentioned that the vaccine is the solution for this problem, and many of the people are asking, is it safe, or what are the side effects behind this?
Well, going by the history, the world has gone through, and there are many diseases like polio, which has caused so much smallpox, and against which, if not for a vaccine, that would have been in a very, very troubled position. So we would say that history will repeat here, and we will have for this also the solution is the vaccine. But if you take, for instance, the safety, most of the vaccines, of course, current vaccines, some of the safety issues were actually due to adjuvants and various other things that are added to the vaccine. Now, of course, the vaccine industry has learned to sort of do it minimally. But I would think that most vaccines, I was involved as a coordinating principal investigator for a dengue vaccine trial that we did in Sri Lanka, and currently we are following them up for about 4 years. I mean, I would say that if you go to, when you have a meal, that there can be several things that you can be allergic to, and I would say that taking a vaccine can be safer than eating any of your meals, right? So, or if you have to travel from in your own car for 20 kilometers, your chance of getting an accident or having something due to that trip is probably more than getting any of these vaccines that we have. So vaccines are not sort of unsafe. When it comes to everything, we are all thinking about it. It is important to think about the adverse effects, but they are all being studied and monitored all the time. The biggest adverse effects that we are finding with even this vaccine is the allergy that you could have to anything. There were 2 people who got allergy due to the Pfizer vaccine, which was highlighted in the media even locally. That's just nothing new. Those are 2 people who were known for severe allergies, who were carrying what is called the EpiPen, because they can get severe allergy, but despite that they got some allergy that they were all controllable. And then there is you can even get allergy to cold water, right? Yeah. It is allergy is something that could happen due to many things. Then the most commonest adverse effect is the pain at the site of the injection, which is known for every vaccine. There can be people who will get mild fever, or feverish feeling last for a day. But now we've got nearly 3 million vaccinations with the currently available vaccines, and there is negligible side effect profile.
So, Dr. Lakkumar, we know that a virus can mutate very frequently, and we have seen that in the COVID-19 virus as well. So, will this vaccine be effective for the mutations as well as? I mean, other question is like, if a vaccine is going to be safe, the next question is it going to be effective throughout the whole life of that person?
Well, as far as mutations are concerned, one good thing about the coronavirus compared to the influenza is the influenza was a virus which was relatively unstable, which mutates fast. Therefore, that we had to have an influenza vaccine, new one for the next pandemic or next epidemic every 1.5 years. Here we have got, we think coronavirus is a relatively stable virus which mutates slowly, maybe not more than a couple of times a month. And though they just had undergone many mutations, there are some certain basic things remain the same. And in fact, one of the ways that we could expect with mutations is, with mutations sometimes the virus can get less and less harmful, or in the sense that the virulence can go down with mutations. We are always thinking about the mutations making the virulence high. That does not necessarily happen, and there are many viruses that has. I mean, even now that we lived with COVID for 1 year, and we haven't seen a major virulence with it, which is an indication that it is a relatively stable virus. But there are a couple of mutations that we recently reported, with both now currently in South Africa as well as in UK, where they are more or less the identical similar mutations, but occurred independently. But what you are seeing is that with that the spread is fast, because the new ones replaces the others. So the number of cases in UK last week was said to be due to 70% are due to the new variant. But what we never saw increased virulence. So it is expected that these vaccines will still be effective against that. Okay. Because one important observation is coronavirus, there was SARS-CoV-1 virus in that affected about 8,000 people and 800 deaths with a mortality rate of 10% between 2002 to 2008, and we haven't got anybody who got that COVID-1 getting COVID-2. Okay. So that probably gave some cross immunity against it after many years. Okay. That is also possible. Of course, it is theoretically possible that you might, I mean, all what you have shown is we are not followed up these vaccines for months, more than several months. So we have seen that it is at least it will give protection for 6 months, 1 year, and so on. But if you have the problem of needing, then all what you need is a boost. I'm sure the industry as well as the science should be able to come out with a solution for that.
Great. So, Dr. Lakkumar, you are an expert in this field, and you are a person who can guide a nation in terms of controlling diseases spreading in Sri Lanka. So, when you really look at Sri Lankan point of view, how and well are we established to get this vaccine to Sri Lanka, and who do you think that the vaccine should be given first?
Right. Sri Lanka is in a I would say that we are in an advantageous position. Of course, if you have anything disadvantages, we don't have money. We are. But apart from that, look at the good things. We are an island, so we don't have people coming from here and there. We can close our borders properly. We have a population of a relatively small population of about only 21 million. And out of which, when it comes to a vaccine, the vaccine is trialed only for people above 16 years. So we have about 6 million people who are children who will not be eligible for the vaccine. So that we have only 15 million. Of course, you don't have to worry a lot about the children. It is known that those children are unlikely to catch compared to the adults. Their chances of getting infected is less, as well as their chances of infecting others is also possibly less. So with that, if the main worry that we had about children is that children will infect the adults, right? So we need to give so we have 15 million people who need the vaccine, of which the vulnerable people, say the old people, we have about 10.5 million people who are above 65 years according to our 2019 census or figures. And so we have we will get, there is a group called COVAX. COVAX it's a God-sent initiative for people like Sri Lanka. This was a well thought about process by the founders of COVAX, the organization called Gavi, which was responsible for giving many countries, very poorer countries, equal access to vaccines. They themselves, together with the WHO and many rich countries who contributed a lot of money into the project, has already invested, in the sense that they have already pre-ordered vaccines, and there are about 184 countries registered with COVAX, and they will give some countries at concession, others free, and about 90 countries free, and Sri Lanka is among those poorer countries, or at least graded as poor, to be eligible to receive the free vaccine. And those countries, they will give 20% of the vaccine. Vaccine free. They have already told that they have ordered 2 billion doses of the vaccine, and they have already secured 1 billion. They have already got confirmed for 1 billion doses. If you take, for instance, AstraZeneca has a manufacturing site in India or in Serum Institute. They can produce 2 billion doses per year. They have already got 50 million doses in stock. Because one of the things that happened during this is that normally when a vaccine is researched, or they go through all the phases, and after that, once the vaccine is approved, that they start manufacturing it. But here the manufacturing went parallel. There are a lot of companies that who gambled. Once good scientific data evidence was there, they started manufacturing so that they will be ready by the time the approvals are ready. Good number of stocks are ready, and they can sort of have the infrastructure where they can multiply the ability to manufacture more vaccines. So we will get 4.1 million doses free, but they may not come immediately. They will come in batches, little by little. They may not need. No country probably. I think Canada has a small population. They have ordered the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine 9 times the doses that they need. So probably countries like ours can probably have the surplus. They probably can cover with the Pfizer vaccine, and there can be Singapore probably will they got their stocks. They can cover with, they have a smaller population, they can cover with the Pfizer vaccine. But most countries will need more than one type of vaccine to vaccinate their entire population, including Sri Lanka. So we'll have to get whatever we get. I know that Pfizer has already offered, not Pfizer, the COVAX has already offered 200,000 doses of Pfizer vaccine free to us. It's up to Sri Lanka to sort of do everything possible to try and get it for us. And so likewise, we have to buy vaccine for 11 million and give the free vaccine. The free vaccine will be the one that will come first. Come first. And when we get the free vaccine, I suppose we'll have to prioritize whom we should give. That probably need a broader group of people. They will include the older people with comorbidities as the top priority, and then also the healthcare workers, as well as the people with comorbidities, and people who are the healthcare, as well as the security forces, the police, and the other people who are involved in the COVID work, because they are a high risk group that will be getting exposed. And also it is already got close to 150 healthcare workers infected with the virus, though places like the IDH have been ideal in wearing their PPE and not allowing other people their workers to get, but every institution has not followed their advice so as a result, and it's a good thing to vaccinate the healthcare workers as well as these other group also on a priority. We'll have to decide on some priority, but at the same time, I suppose private sector also should be allowed to. We should have three sources of looking at the vaccine. That we have to get the vaccine from the COVAX, the 4.1 million that we are getting free. That will be the first. At the same time, we should try and see whether we can do some shopping for the vaccine in those other countries. Take for instance, Russian Gamaleya vaccine, they can produce 500 million doses, more than what the country requires to vaccinate everybody. So we probably have good relationships with them, see whether we can get something from them. But we have to always make sure that whatever vaccine our regulatory bodies decide, they are proper quality, they are the suitable vaccine, and they have the better studies, better data to support ourselves sort of investing or using that as our vaccine option, or more than one. China will have those vaccines, so we will have to look at. So that's the other one that we will have to go, and probably when those countries that have ordered far in excess of what they really need, means that there will be some stocks that are available from those sources, and all our ability to negotiate, to talk, to go to our friends and then get those vaccines, they all will matter. There has to be a very, very efficient team that will be working on this fast, because then I believe that, we being a smaller country, we get 6 million not needed, 4.1 million we are getting free. The balance 11 million, we should try and vaccinate them, vaccinate everybody. If we can, because we are a country, our literacy rates are high, our vaccine coverages are better than even in Europe and America for the other vaccines, because we've always worked, we got a good infrastructure, good strong public health system, strong public health teams. Even if you have to do mass vaccination, I'm sure we are capable of doing it compared to many countries, because a lot of countries may have ordered vaccines from COVAX, but everybody is not capable as Sri Lanka in distributing the vaccine and giving it to the people. So that all these things can be used to give the vaccine, and if we can vaccinate our entire population, we will be one of the first countries in the world to vaccinate the entire workforce as well, everybody. So we become a very, very safe country for any tourists to come. Not only tourists, but about the people who have been earning our money. Our biggest income has been our foreign employment people. They are not able to come to Sri Lanka because we are scared to bring them here. But if we are in a position to get the vaccine, then we can make them come here, and we can open our economy, we can open our factories, we can open our hotels, and we can, of course, this is the time where we are in a very advantageous position we have to intelligently use it. I don't think we can just bring a set of tourists from one country, this, that, the way, and do a little bit of patching or starting one factory or doing sort of some lockdowns here, some opening here, this, that, and take this economy. We have to have a jump start. For that jump start, I think the best investment is, the cost of it is less than what we spend for the PCR test. For the PCR test, and it's about 1/10 of all what we spent for the entire COVID related activity, which is close to 100 billion. So this is, if we can do this investment fast and get the entire vaccine coverage, then probably we can be very relaxed, and probably, so what all we need to do is to try and do this as fast as possible. Now the funding, I would say that this vaccine is not going to be very costly. In fact, I told you that 19 more vaccines are in the phase 3, so they will soon also enter the approval stage. So more and more vaccines will come into the approval stage. There will be competition, and I don't think anybody will be in a position to monopolize and jack up the prices up. In fact, AstraZeneca and Oxford, when they came into the first agreement, they decided to have this vaccine not for profit. They are giving it at cost. And we probably can, being AstraZeneca being a good vaccine, as well as we are produced in a neighboring country, we are in an advantageous position. Then there is another company called Bharat Biotech, which is in India. They are also having a very promising vaccine, and China has their own vaccine. So we have a lot of ways if we are to look for to get the vaccine, and I think what we should do is to try and do this and vaccinate everybody and get out of the shell that we are inside as fast as possible.
Dr. Lakkumar, coming to the last question of our program, the clinical trial industry actually made a change in terms of developing a vaccine at a very short phase. So my next question is, Dr. Lakkumar, which is my final question and which is going to be very important for the public, is by when can we expect this vaccine in Sri Lanka?
Well, I think the first talks, if we are now I told you that one of the approved vaccines, the Pfizer BioNTech, we got an offer to have 200,000 doses, which could be used for frontline healthcare workers or so. And I need to tell you that initially we thought that this that can be available in mid-February. If we are committed to it and if you do everything right to do this. Unfortunately, there are some few people in the Ministry of Health who may not be the best people to coordinate these things, but then because they are used, but we need to rethink. We have to just make sure that we move fast to get those. Now the Pfizer vaccine, one of the things that we outright thought is not an option for us is because it is ultra cold. It needs to be in -70 temperature. But the manufacturer has already found a solution to it, that they have a kind of a container that is filled with dry ice that can maintain the temperature if unopened without anything for 10 days. And once it is opened, also if you can refill it with dry ice, you can keep it up to 30 days. And once you take it from it, you can keep it between 2 and 8, the refrigerated normal temperature that we keep our other vaccines, for another 5 days. So that's good enough.
Yes.
If we can get that vaccine, and I know that there are local companies, logistical companies, which are world class and they have already told that they are capable of delivering the vaccine. There are local companies that are capable of bringing the vaccine. There is this Emirates, Sky Cargo and so on, various other transport facilities that are distributing the vaccine, and Singapore is being used as a vaccine hub to distribute the vaccine from here to there. There are companies that are capable of bringing it to a local hospital and give. All what we need to do is to make sure a system to vaccinate people during a period of time, preserving the cold chain, as well as because once you take it up, if you keep it outside, you can keep it for about 5 hours outside without putting into the temperature after taking. So likewise, we have a system which we are quite used to. Our health force is good at it. Yes. So if that is the case, we can have the 200,000 vaccines covering in the entire health frontliners by mid-February, and then we can keep getting more and more stocks of what is. So when Sri Lanka becomes the most logistically possible place to get the vaccine, so that's the other thing. Of course, if we don't do these, if when we are asked, offered, if we don't respond fast, we'll go to the back of the queue. Then of course we will have to anyway wait, because we are a place where, because people are worried about not wasting the vaccine. So only things are in place. We have a good track record of making sure that the vaccines are nicely used. We will get it. All the countries in the world, some poorer countries, are not as organized as us. Health-wise, we are in a better position.
Yeah.
So the COVAX as well as everybody will see us as a good example to begin any program giving us the doses. So I think what we need to do is to take advantage of it, so that we can finish our vaccination faster than many other countries.
Great. 27th of December 2020, Dr. Lakkumar Fernando is writing this document. It's called Vaccines Against COVID and How Can Sri Lanka Benefit? Insights and Solutions. So I'm asking you guys to drop a text to our comment section, so that we'll be able to give this document. It's a very easy document. Anybody can read and understand this document, and it's going to enlighten you in terms of having a clear concept about the vaccine and what is going to be for Sri Lanka in the future. Thank you so much, Dr. Lakkumar Fernando. Your insight and your expert opinion has been really grateful in terms of Sri Lanka going forward with this crisis. Thank you so much.
Thank you.